There are people all around, and all of the planes that are leaving today are full. So what are we doing? What kind of nonsense is this? What's happening here? But the flight to Phoenix does not look empty. And so we're gonna see how full or empty this flight is. I'll take a walk over there and then I'll turn off the camera. And this is the 6th trip I've made to San Antonio since November. And in November and December it was actually less people than now, so that comes back to the story of whether or not there was really anything happening over Christmas break and over Thanksgiving break. They tried to scare you into thinking there was going to be this big, huge death toll after the holidays, and it hasn't happened, and they're not talking about that. So here we are in Phoenix. I made it. It's quiet here, but it's not empty. Most of these morons over here think there's still a pandemic, even though they're all standing less than 6 feet away from each other. All of them still believe they need a mask on. All of them are still playing the game. Even though 2 weeks ago, all of these flights were less than a third full because they weren't allowed to be full. Now they're all full. Nobody cares. Nobody notices. Nobody gives a shit. Just doing what they're told because Facebook is the way they learn. And this is what Facebook can do. Facebook can make a bunch of people not realize that they're wearing masks for nothing and that they've been lied to. It's pretty shocking.
Good morning. Morning. Good day.
Thank you.
Don't bother me, man.
Attention, Chief of Course, airplane 4326 service to Los Angeles. This aircraft is now boarding gear C-33. Clean all ticketing over passengers.
So you're interested if it's safe to fly in America, huh? Well, a lot of people think it is safe to fly. I'm flying back from Denver to Pittsburgh right now. The flight from San Antonio to Denver was completely full. Not one seat was open. In fact, 4 standby passengers got left behind. The flight that I'm going to Pittsburgh now is not quite packed. It's not quite as full as the one from San Antonio. But remember and recall that the flight here and into Phoenix was absolutely packed. So we're talking about between 3 and 4 weeks straight now of packed flights. And even though the airports themselves are not full, you really need to consider the ramifications for the biological myth that they're trying to tell you on television. And if the wave from Thanksgiving and the wave from Christmas hasn't come yet, now we have full airports and there's still no wave, or at least nobody's worried about it, and that's curious at least. Please stay tuned. So I'm here in Denver. The airport's pretty busy. All the planes that I've been on in the last week have been full. So you're gonna have to take that into account as you decide whether you want to fly or not. But you're also gonna have to take that into account as you start to think about how this pandemic unfolds and whether or not they're really telling you the truth. Because if these planes are full and the people are all sitting right next to each other and the airports are all full and the people are moving from all over the United States, through Denver, through Phoenix, wherever they're going, then you've got to explain why there isn't a huge deluge in the hospitals. You need to explain why we aren't seeing the sort of pandemic disaster that we were supposed to see after Thanksgiving, after Christmas. It still hasn't come. And now you see that the airports are wide open and they're not really worried about it. And I think that tells you a lot. Okay, so I'm not really sure what to say because the entire airport is really full. This is the second flight I've taken in about a week. Since the Texas winter apocalypse, I'm now on a plane again. You can make the excuse that because of the Texas apocalypse, things are a little bit more crowded than they should be, but I don't think you can make that excuse from the perspective of the pandemic. And I think we have to pull our heads out and realize that the laws of their biological myth are currently being violated. And if we continue to allow it to happen, our kids are going to grow up in a world where biology doesn't even exist anymore. Please help me wake people up. So I made it home, and the plane was packed. The plane there and the plane back was packed. There's really no talking about this in any other way anymore, other than there is a disconnect between what's happening in our society and what they tell us on the television and what they tell us on Facebook. We're gonna have to come around to the idea that things are not normal. And you cannot have a pandemic and also have full airplanes and full airports. And keep the schools closed, keep the churches closed, but keep Walmart and Home Depot open. You just can't do this. This is not biology, this is a stunt. And we need to wake up and take our country back. Thank you very much. My name is JC on a bike. I'll see you soon.